Well, hello. I think we're live. Um, oh yeah, I can't check my own channel. Let's see here. Performance racing. I think we should be live. Yes, we are.
We live? Yes, we are.
Oh, I'm gonna hit myself like 3 times. I don't want that. Here we are. Live streams. So then, the finale. Um, Bit of a poor showing, which is a shame, but we'll make the most of it. We can see FRL Charlie on the mediums, which will be interesting to see. Sorry, I'm dealing with this. So here we go. Differential is starting a hot lap. Sorry, just dealing with Discord as well. Whilst this is going on, Charlie, on the mediums, with only 13 drivers, it's a good idea because if you can just beat 3 people, then yeah. What are the standings? Ferrari is leading the constructors. Adri is the champion of of Premier, which is lovely to see. Josh, I will see if I can get you an invite. Okay, Josh, you should have an invite now. So here we are. Sorry I haven't talked much about the lab, but Charlie is coming around. Oh, it looked like a bit of oversteer, but it probably was nothing. Charlie sets a 1:27.5 as a benchmark. This was the Tambar coming around to start the lap. But Checo Perez, one of the faster drivers in Premier, was a 1:25.9 as a start, so it's very good. Frosty from Tier 1 sets a 1:27.3, so just beats the medium time. Fruitful with a 26.6 and Adri with a 26.2. As we see Aiden Jones coming around to set a 26.4. Goes P3. Victor sets a 26.2. So just behind Adri. Now Ankbank, my fellow Swede, is coming across the line With a 27.5. Not the best lap from Ankbank there. But I'm sure it has a lot more. Sorry, just gonna send another invite. So we're gonna get a couple of more people in. Which is always good. Calirob in my fellow team Mercedes. Mercedes hasn't had the best. Oh, and Calirob invalidates. I was just about to say that Mercedes hasn't had the best of times in Premier. They have struggled a bit and setting up 27 flat, which is very nice. And Josh has joined. It was being very glitchy, and there we go, Boas. Finally coming out on track. We'll join Darkness on a lap. So coming through turn 1 and turn 2, which is actually a bit tricky. It can be very easy to spin there. And we have coming through sector 1 now, the end of sector 1, 28-1. Oh, just touches the curve a bit too much and spins. That section is so tricky because you want to use the curbs to get a good rotation just a little bit, but you don't want too much, and Darkness King just go a little too much. And ignore the purple sector 1. It is a annoying thing that happens when you go for your first lap. Darkness King coming through now and has invalidated. I thought it looked wide, so we will be on board with Calirob, who is furthest ahead on a push lap with just under 10 minutes to go. Calirob with a purple sector 1. Not sure if that is because he hasn't set a time yet, or it is actually purple. I'm gonna assume it's because he hasn't set a lap time yet, which is a known glitch. Just runs too wide and invalidates as well. Tambar is in an out lap. We will go on board with No, we won't. We go on board with Boas Knoll, who is coming through penultimate straight, getting a very nice slipstream from Tambar. Hopefully he didn't get hold up. So it's 8:27 and 2, and goes P7. We are 4. Traffic outlap. The Ferrari of Checo Perez is very wide through there. So fruitful coming through now to end this push lap. Ooh, just stays within the track limits and goes P3 with a 26.1. PWR Fusions, the lovely nickname that I have as well, PWR. .105.4 in the second sector, just on the edge of track limits as well. It's really impressive watching these Premier Tier drivers pushing to the absolute limits. Fusions goes P6 with a 26.9. And Tambar has invalidated again. We'll go on board with Calces on the mediums. Calces goes P8, 27.1. So I'm not sure that's gonna be enough. Adri is furthest ahead, so we'll stick on board with Adri for the final two corners. I've just seen Adri isn't even close to a good lap time. And neither is Checo Perez. So I'm guessing they have just completed their laps. Ankbank just up. We'll see if Ank can get into the 26s. Yes, a 26.7. Gets Ank up into P6 and just ahead of their teammates. Frosty, who's putting up a good fight, currently in P11. Just behind Josh, actually, who's also from Tier 1. Calces again with an invalidated lap. I think it might be an in-lap. Either way, I can't see above because there's a party invite. Ankbank is also on an in-lap. Sure, so Darkness King will join you then in the Red Bull. So Darkness King is from Tier 2. Anything better than P15 is out of this world. No disrespect, of course. Darkness King from Tier 2. Getting some good practicing for the finale in Tier 2. I'm not actually sure about the standings there. Maybe the commentator for that race will go through that. We'll go through the standings a bit more during the formation lap. So Darkness King through the tricky turn 9 and 10. It looks solid through there. Now up here, a long sweeping left to a fast right-hander that is flat. But we don't want to touch that curve because it will spin you around. I'm sorry if you guys heard that yell. Darkness King coming through now. 27.3 goes P11. Incredible lap, beating both Frosty and FRL Charlie. A very, very good lap from Darkness King. Checo Perez is out to defend the current pole position that they have. I'm not gonna spoil the real life results from Monaco in case anyone hasn't seen it yet. All I'm gonna say is it was a good race. Checo Perez slightly up. Let's see what Checo Perez can do in the second sector split. Let's see, 2.5 tenths up through the second sector. So a very good lap is incoming from Checo Perez. 27.7 maybe? 27.6. Let's see. 25.6. I of course meant and Checo Perez does get down to a 25.6. Who is racing now? It's Frosty? No, it's not Frosty, it's the other one. And Victor is on an outlap, was on an outlap, so we'll go on board with Adri, who of course already has Tier 1 wrapped up, Premier wrapped up. Let's see, it's purple through the second sector. This will be very interesting. Stays within the track limits. And Darkness King has left. If they can get back in. But Adri improving to 25.7 and can't get fastest. Tambar still hasn't set a time on the mediums now, giving it a try. And goes P7, 26.9. 1,000 ahead of Fusions, who did a 26.9. 2-2. And Boas trying to get up to Victor. Victor sets a 25.9. P3 for Victor. And Aiden has invalidated and goes into the pits. Calirob isn't setting a good lap time. Fruitful coming through. Oh, and Fruitful goes very wide and goes into the pits. Who do we have left? Fruitful retires in the pits. Who do we have left then? We have Tambar, we have Andrew who's been pushing. So we'll go on board with Tambar then. Tambar isn't pushing either. So quali is done. Quali is done. Boas nor Tambar is setting a lap time. It will be very interesting now. Callie, Calcis, Josh, Darkness, and Frosty will all have free tire choice. Also, top 10 is starting, except for Tambar on softs. Which is very interesting. So here's the rundown of qualifying. Checo Perez in the Ferrari just ahead of Adricay, Victor P3, Charlie 4th, Aiden 5th, Fruitful, Ankbank, Boas, Tambar, Fusions, Callie, Calcis, Josh, Darkness, and Frosty. I'm just gonna get incidents. So then, we'll have a bit of a time in between now and when the formation lap begins, as it is a time for the drivers to set their strategies and whatnot. Will be interesting to see if anyone in the top 10 manages a one-stop. I know it's tricky, but possible. So it will be very, very exciting to see. We have Checo Perez and Vihu against Will Adricay in the Williams. Who else is in the Williams? Oh, on memory. But I'm pretty sure there's two Williams drivers, which means that is a battle. We'll have to look at Ferrari 47 points clear, but the maximum points for P1 is 53, I believe. So it's definitely not over. A 1-2 for Williams is vital, and crashing can be a bit tricky, since the rules are, if you crash, you'll be put you'll get the points of P20, even though there's only 15 drivers. Which means if you crash, you'll get a lot less points. So the Ferraris will just need to do as good as possible for them to win the constructors. So just waiting for the ready up from the admin of the tier. Last week in Interlagos, Checo Perez won ahead of Fruitful. Adricay was third, Fusions in fourth, Calcis P5, Victor was sixth ahead of Darluto, finishing just behind on track. Ankbank P8, Boas P9, Diglett was P10, Steinmine was P11. So very, very interesting to see. And there we have the timer. Took a little bit longer than usual. But yeah, here we are. Just 15 seconds before the race starts for the finale. If anyone is listening to this, put in chat who you think will win. And if you think Ferrari or Williams will take home the constructors. Yeah, there's 2 Williams cars and only 1 Ferrari actually, so very interesting. Adri and Charlie. Okay, math. I'm not sure, but I don't think a 1-2 with Checo third is enough. It might actually be. Math isn't my strong suit. Let's put on the... I'm gonna put on position change for the start. I'm just gonna check the tires. Callie, Calcis, Josh, and Darkness King on mediums. Darkness King isn't here. Frosty has gone for softs, which is interesting. Might be trying out something for the tier 1 race. But we're gonna go with position change for the start. Casper Salomonsen is saying Tambar to win. No. All my respects to Tambar. P2 in tier 1 last season. But I don't think Tambar is winning this race. I think Checo Perez is gonna win. There will be an interesting battle between the Williams and the Ferrari. Victor is also a strong shout, very, very quick. The crucial thing will be, as we get the predicted pit stop strategy, which is 2 stops all the way around. Now then, just waiting. I think lights on. I can't actually see. There we are. The 5 red lights are on. Lights out, and away we go. Frosty getting a good start. You can see Charlie getting up into P3. Oh, and don't get in the way of each other now with the Williams drivers. A good start from Fusions and Calirob up into P8 and 9 respectively. 2 places up for both of them. Boas and Tambar losing out 2 positions. Victor dropping down 2 positions, losing out to Aiden and Charlie. Fusions getting past Angbank as well. We can see a gaggle of cars. Calirob just side by side with Angbank on those soft tires, has better grip initially and gets out ahead of Calirob. Tambar side by side with Boas. Tambar swoops around the outside, has the inside for the right-hander. The soft tires just has that bit more grip to help Boas keep ahead right now. But Tambar is still side by side. Oh, and they touch. Now Calcis is gonna swoop by. I know these guys are in a party together. Tambar keeps ahead actually. A little bit more speed and locks up slightly into turn 1. And get a run. Has a little bit of a better exit, but Calcis is the one closest so far, and you can see on the interval that oh, and it's Ankbank who's around. Oh, and that looks like a front wing damage as well for Ankbank. That's very harsh on lap 2 out of 29. Disconnected. Sorry about that. Frosty now side by side with Calcis. The tier 1 drivers giving absolutely everything. Right. Oh, and that's Boas around. That's a very weird way of spinning, but Boas is around. Has kept it out of the wall and everything. So we'll just drop into P14 as Checo Perez puts up the fastest lap of the race so far. You see Josh, who is actually has no helmet on, which is an interesting tactic to lose weight. Now Fruitful has spun it at the exit of turn 3 to the left, kind of like Mazepin did last season in real life, which is very easy to do. We'll go on board with, sorry, we'll take the tires now. We'll see that both Boas and Ankbank has put medium tires on. See, Frost is still pushing very, very hard to stay with and try and attack Calcis in the Alpine. He's doing very, very well. You can see Darkness King getting ahead of Fruitful, who is again around. We'll go up into the lead group of cars and we'll see both Victor and Aiden very close now to PRL Charlie as the horses swap around. Horses? Alpines swap positions. Aiden is very, very close to PRL Charlie, but didn't have enough on that DRS straight to get ahead. Is that Josh? It's Josh who is around and is in the gravel, which is definitely not optimal. Fruitful has pitted and fitted mediums and comes out just ahead of Ankbank. Hopefully those two can work together, even though they're in different teams, to get up to Boas and the others. Aiden still very, very close to Charlie. And Checo is being caught now by Adri, who has DRS. He was just a little bit too far behind. Go on board with Aiden though, who has gone on the inside Oh, and gets a tank slapper and loses 2 positions in the space of a couple of corners. Not what Aiden would have wanted, but he's showing some very good pace and will be able to fight back to get back up into P3. I think Frost is around, losing it before turn 8. I'm guessing the exit of turn 7 then. But we can see now Adri still very close to Checo Perez. Just a little bit too far behind, 6/10. As we see F1 Charlie go into the pits. And Fusions as well. So interesting, the first guys already. And Fruitful gets the first time penalty of the day. Or night rather. Here in Bahrain. And the lovely helicopter view of this battle for first place. And Josh picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. Let's see if Adri. Oh, and that's a Mercedes. So Josh is around on the fresh mediums. Oh, sorry, not fresh mediums. On the mediums. How to put it? Yeah. So Adri is a little bit closer this time around. Can Adri be close enough at the end of the straight this time? No, just doesn't get quite close enough. Aiden Jones bites the bullet and goes into the pits. The softs are starting to give way as Adri shows right there. Dropping grip. But it's a long old race. 24 to 22 laps on the medium tires. Oh, and Josh gets the 5-second when speeding in the pit lane. But it's a long time to go on those mediums, and they're gonna be very warm at the end. If you don't want to make a second stop. A safety car would help these drivers. Again, Adri out of the final corner just drops back to about 6/10, and that isn't close enough to make a move on Checo Perez, so I have to figure something out to get a better exit out of that final corner if he wants to get by soon. And we see the Alpines fighting a bit. Takes it to turn 3. See Calcis just behind Tambra, so they have swapped around again. Fusions picks up a time penalty in P9. Which brings Darkness King cruising. Is Darkness King here? No, he's boosted. Okay. The Chaos is getting closer and closer to Tambar. But that straight just isn't long enough. It's long enough to get you very, very close. But then you either need to be very, very close already to make the move, or you will have to rely on making a move here. And Adri is closer this time, not close enough still. And again, and Calcis and Tambar swapping places. You see them in the background there. The only good thing for them is that they aren't fighting in too much, and therefore not losing too much time to Victor, who is almost 3 seconds behind, which is a time penalty, which is good for them. So they have that time penalty buffer. They're very close at the end of this race, but not close enough. Doesn't want to force anything either. Tambar is not closing in too much on Calcis, which is very interesting. Let's see, Adri looks a lot closer this time. Goes into the pits. Adri goes into the pits. Will try and undercut Checo Perez. He's on board with Tambar, who is getting by Calcis pretty easily. They aren't fighting during the lap though, so they aren't losing too much time, which is important for them. So of course they are. Oh, and Josh has left. As his car is still on track. Oh, it doesn't even have a hood on. You can see Aiden Jones just behind Adri. Not able to get out ahead, and Charlie is way ahead. Very interesting. I missed that. But FR Charlie is in P6 ahead of Adri. Adri, of course, on a lot fresher tires. But very interesting to see. Oh, and that's fruitful. Spinning. And Victor goes into this. Checo Perez is continuing on. Checo Perez is, I think, trying the one-stop then. I have an easier time. Victor is out behind Aiden Jones and Adri. Might even drop Fusions. No, Fusions just stays behind. But Victor has dropped time to Adri, importantly, so the undercut is very, very strong. Or it's proven very, very strong now. I think Checo Perez has lapped, and Fruitful retires from the session. the pits. Ooh, Adri getting ahead of FRL Charlie. Now into net P1. I think Checo Perez is coming in to the pits this lap, and now we'll see how much time Checo Perez has lost to the top 3, which currently are Adri, Charlie and Aiden Jones. They are coming down the main straight now. Checo hasn't even exited the pits. Checo is P7, way behind. Almost 2 seconds behind Aiden Jones. So what Adri needs to do now is absolutely push to get ahead. And he can use FR Charlie as a block to keep behind. Kelsey's. Just behind Campbell. These two have been swapping positions, right, left and center this first stint. Let's see when they decide to go into the pits. I think Kansas was a bit too far back this time, at least to make a move on the first straight. We'll move to Aiden Jones. But Efren Charlie is being pulled by Adri. So unfortunately for Aiden, he won't be able to make a move just yet. Triple starting to claw in a bit now, 1.8 seconds behind. And Adri stays ahead once again. About 11 seconds up to the Alpines of Tambar and Calcis. Just looking at the gaps, it's not much battling going on. We obviously have that train of Adri, Charlie, Aiden. Checo Perez has somehow clawed in everything in one lap. Really impressive. And we have these two. The French-Norwegian battle. Why is this a camera angle? I don't want this. I want if that's the case of this at least. You can see everyone trying to just staying behind Adri, not fighting to make them lose. Oh no, Tambar has spun it. Tambar is soon caught by Adri after spinning it. Checo Perez is just in back of Aiden Jones now, and Aiden Jones is out of DRS on the Williams cars. So Checo around the outside on those super fresh mediums compared to Aiden's worn in mediums. And Checo Perez gets it done. But now Aiden, he can just carry enough speed maybe can get back up into P6. Crucially, up there, Adri is in the DRS of Tambar. As we see Aiden pull up to the right, on the inside, goes outside now, tries to switch back, but can't get it done, but has DRS on the second straight. Gets given the outside of Checo Perez, can't get it done. Good defense from Checo Perez. And this fighting has put them almost 2 seconds behind the Williams cars. And they will quickly catch because Adri is still stuck behind Tambar. Let's see if Adri can get by already. No. Besides. Oh, but Tambar goes wide. Tambar goes wide and Adri leaves a little bit of space but gets around and is up into P3. So Adri has free air once again. Question is, can Tambar get back? Adri, I think, going into the pits, but Tambar is closing in at a very high rate, but isn't close enough to make the move and backs out of it. I think there was a bit of touching there with F1 Charlie as well. But no one is able to make a move. Of course getting carried by Adri in the DRS. And he just stays within the DRS as well. Of course he won't have the same slipstream as Charlie, but it's just not enough. But I don't think Tambar will get into the DRS for the start-finish straight. And Charlie will be able to get by. But Checo Perez has clawed. Actually, no, just will miss the DRS this lap. And the Alpines is double stacking. But Charlie getting some free sorry about that, free DRS down the main straight. Of course down the second straight, no free DRS as both went into the pits. Aiden is hanging on for dear life, trying to stay with Checo Perez, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. Marcus and Tom are on the soft tires. 13 laps. It's possible. I mean, the cars are lighter, and the cars yeah, the cars are lighter than at start, so, and of course the tires are brand new, so unless they used all of it in the qualifying, but then they only have about a lap's worth. As we have, is that Ank back around again, or is it? No, it's Fusions this time. Fusions spinning and losing the entire front wing. I think touched the curve you definitely don't want to touch. And Josh has joined back. I think disconnected maybe. Looks like Josh, of course, is far behind now. But at least can get into the swing of things before Tier 1 of the race. The interval has gone, but we can see Checo Perez is still right on the back of PRL Charlie. And we'll get the intervals back when everyone crosses the finish line. But I think Checo Perez will get the move. As we see Calirob going into the pits. Which means Adri up into P1. Checo Perez goes up into P2 ahead of F1 Charlie. Aiden Jones drops down into P5 behind Victor. Oh, and Aiden gets the switchback. Swoops around the outside. And I think it's the DRS as well. Yes, indeed. So Aiden Jones back up into P4. Victor down into P5 again. Calirob in the Mercedes is hunting Calcis now. Both on very fresh softs. Will be very quick. The question is, can they get up into the range of Victor? I don't see it happening, honestly. Charlie with 6 laps older tires than Perez. Double the age. Currently with Checo Perez's tires. So I think Checo Perez will manage and has managed to pull out a second gap. I will now try and hunt Adri. Seeing Victor now. Slipstream, DRS. I would guess on Miras as well. Gets it done, and this time gets the braking done as well. Oh, and Aiden had a bit of a tank stepper, I think. Aiden as well on very old tires, 12 laps. As we see, Calirob has actually gotten by Calcis. Which means the Alpines in 7th and 8th, Calirob up into 6th. Tambar has a time penalty as well. And Fusions slaps in a fastest lap of the race with a 28.2, which is very, very cool. And F1 Charlie has gotten Victor to worry about now, as Victor has gotten into the DRS range. Victor will use this lap to get close, and we'll see how long Charlie can defend. Still 9 laps to go, so it's gonna be a long time for Charlie to defend, especially without anyone to back him up. We have a couple of pitters, Frosty and Boas, both into the pits, and Fusion's up into P10. So I think Frosty has done a 2-stop then, soft medium soft, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure what Boas did. There's a Calrobe as well, very very close. So we'll see if we can see both what is happening, but Victor has so much speed compared. You can see in the background there Calrobe getting by Aiden Jones. And those soft tires are mighty quick. And Calcis is actually only 2 seconds behind Aiden. So Calcis might be one to watch as well. But Calrobe is closing in at a very big rate of knots. And it's already within a second of FRM Charlie. And this will be an interesting mix. To spot. Is right in the back of Charlie now. Can I get him before the DRS detection point? Has a little look, but decides to stick and wait. Charlie, I think, goes into the pits and those mediums didn't last. I think Charlie would have had DRS to defend. Of course, that wouldn't have helped. As we see Tamar getting by. Calcis is hunting Aiden Jones. Goes around outside. Oh, they're still both there. Calcis with the better grip gets it done. Calcis up into P5. And Aiden Jones down to P6. Calrobe right on the back of Victor now. Can he get it done on this straight? He is very close. Decides not to. Has a bit of patience to wait. We can see Checo Perez 1.5 seconds behind Adrike. So that will be an interesting battle in a couple of laps time. Just want to note that Frosty and Boas is having a battle for P11 as well, which is very interesting. But we are watching Calrobe getting by Victor up into P3. The medium to soft strategy is OP if you have the pace. Calrobe. It will be very interesting to see if anyone in Tier 1 go for it in qualifying, or rather how many will try it, because it is the best strategy. You can see Checo Perez still just behind Adrike, just outside that DRS. Just need a little bit more. Has 2 lap fresher tires, so should in theory have a better grip than Adri. You can see Calrobe in the background also closing in. It will be an interesting 3-way hopefully. Quick look at the battle for P11. Oh, Frosty keeps it. God, I'm sorry. Checo Perez has gotten into the DRS. We have Adam in chat saying watch out for Calirob and Fish softs. Yeah, definitely Calirob closing in every lap, 2.5 behind now, 2.4 even. It was 2.9 last lap, so he's definitely catching by about almost a second a lap. You see, I checked after here, he was 2.9. Yeah, he's catching by about 7-8 tenths a lap. And Calirob currently won here last season. I didn't know that. Calirob definitely has pace around here, so it's very interesting to see. You can also see Fusions is very close to Ankbank and will likely get through the battle for P9. Ankbank, of course, won Tier 1 last season. Has had a bit of a tougher season this time around. From a lot faster. But yeah, if he keeps up this pace, he definitely will catch them. I think he'll catch them in lap 28 and hopefully can just maybe sneak by Checo. Of course, Checo, who is within DRS of Adri, will get carried on the straights a bit. So Calirob's hope will be to get by in the corners. 1.6 seconds behind for Calirob. Let's see, has Checo got the pace? We'll swap to this camera because I don't like the other one. Checo just not close enough. You need to be about or within half a second, roughly, unless you're burning all your ERS, and the other guy isn't, to be close enough around here. I don't think Andrew should go too defensive. It is an interesting one, because whilst you don't want to overdo defensively, at the same time you want to be behind when lap 29 starts, so you can get by on the straight. And yeah, Calirob has gotten within DRS of Checo Perez. So we have a three-way battle for the win for 2 laps. Adrike, Checo Perez and Calirob. From Charlie currently P7 for Williams. Not sure if that's enough. If someone wants to do maths for me, that would be very, very kind. Fastest lap is currently PWR Fusions. I'm pretty sure. But Checo Perez has gotten into the lead of the race. This is playing into Adri's hands if Adri can just stay with Checo Perez. Cali needs to get very, very close. And we might have 3 wide on the start-finish straight for lap 29. You can see Calderop is very, very close now. Doesn't go for it. And Adri is dropping back. His tires are starting to go. 6/10 is not going to be enough to make a move on the final straight with all ERS being used. 8/10 now. So Adri K I don't think will win. I think Calderop will get by. Calderop actually got a pretty bad exit. So Calderop stays P3. Adri keeps P2 for now. I don't think has enough. As Aiden Jones gets a time penalty, that's not gonna matter in any way for anyone. It's definitely looking like Checo's win, but we still have about 8 or 9 corners to go, and a couple of them can throw you around, so don't try shout hey until you cross the lake, as we say in Swedish, roughly. Adric is very close all of a sudden, thanks to the ERS on that DRS on that straight. Adri is flashing. Checo isn't. Cali is as well. Checo Perez crosses the line. Adri with a bit of weaving gets P2, wins the championship, of course. Already had that wrapped up. Checo Perez wins the Bahrain GP. Kelsey's P5. Everett Charlie gets P6 for Williams. Not sure if that is enough for Williams. I don't think so, with Checo Perez winning. Tambar coming around to finish P7. Penalties won't have any effect on the race results. Aiden, I think, pitted for fresh tires, but of course can't set a fastest lap in the last lap, so that's an interesting one. Boas P9. Ankback, my fellow Swede, will get the P10. Frosty, repping tier 1, gets P11. Not a bad result. Beating PWR Fusions, who gets P12. So that has been that race. An incredible one with a very interesting ending. As you can see, no helmet there as well. Lovely Codemasters. You can see the Ferrari of Checo Perez taking the top step. Very, very quick Checo Perez, and I think Checo will, if he keeps it up, be a contender for championship next season, when F1 22 comes out. I will quickly just grab this before doing anything else. So a quick rundown then. Checo Perez winning ahead of Adrike and Calderop. Congrats to Adri winning the championship, of course. I think Checo managed the Ferrari. Victor P4, Calcis P5, Charlie P6, Tambar 7th, Aiden 8th, Boas 9th, Ank 10th, Frosty, Fusions, Darkness King, Josh, and Fruitful with the P15. Wow, what a race. Now it's time to set up the Tier 1 lobby. I have been your host. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys next time somewhere. Enjoy your nights and check out Tier 1 and Tier 2. Goodbye.